It's 2 in the morning. The house is silent. Not a creak, not a breath. You walk past the bathroom, and out of the corner of your eye, something moves. You stop. Your heart slams against your ribs. Slowly, carefully, you turn back. It's just you, your own reflection, standing exactly where you left it. But for one full second, your brain didn't know that. For one full second, every muscle in your body prepared to run. Why would your own face trigger a survival response? Most people assume mirrors are simple: glass, silver backing, light bouncing back at you in perfect symmetry. But the unease you feel isn't about the glass at all. It's about something far older, buried in a part of your brain that was never built for what a mirror actually is. Here's the strange truth. For almost all of human history, people could not see their own faces clearly. No mirrors, no polished glass, just still water on a windless day, and even then, only a rippling, imperfect ghost of a face, gone the moment the surface moved. For hundreds of thousands of years, you knew the shape of your hands, you knew the sound of your voice, but your own face? Almost a complete mystery. Evolution had millions of years to prepare your brain for predators, for strangers, for storms rolling in over the horizon. It had almost no time to prepare you for the experience of staring directly into your own eyes. In 1970, a psychologist named Gordon Gallup Jr. ran an experiment that would change how scientists think about self-awareness. He placed a small dot of red dye on the foreheads of sleeping chimpanzees, then let them wake up in front of a mirror. Most animals attack a mirror. They see a rival, a stranger, a threat to fight off. But the chimpanzees didn't attack. They reached up and touched the red dot on their own forehead. That single motion proved something enormous: self-recognition, the understanding that the reflection isn't another creature, it's you. Humans develop this same ability around 18 months of age, and not a moment sooner. Before that, a baby staring into a mirror doesn't see itself. It sees another baby, a separate little stranger to babble at. Which means self-recognition isn't automatic, it's trained. Built slowly, connection by connection, inside a brain still under construction. And anything the brain has to learn from scratch can also glitch, fail, or reverse itself under the right conditions. That glitch has a name. Psychologists call it the strange face illusion, and it was formally studied in 2010 by an Italian researcher named Giovanni Caputo. He had participants sit in a dimly lit room and stare into a mirror for just 10 minutes. No tricks, no hidden effects. Just their own face, in low light, for 10 uninterrupted minutes. Nearly every participant reported the same unsettling thing. Their face began to distort. Some described a stranger staring back. Some described a monstrous, almost animal version of themselves. Some swore, with complete confidence, that the reflection moved on its own, independent of their body, watching a half-beat too long before it copied them. Nothing was ever wrong with the mirror. Something was happening deep inside their own visual system. Here's what's actually going on. Your brain relies on a process called neural adaptation. When you stare at anything for too long without blinking or looking away, the neurons responsible for recognizing that exact image start to fatigue, one by one, like a signal slowly losing strength. They fire weaker with every passing second, and your brain, starved of fresh visual information, does the one thing it always does when the data runs low. It starts guessing, filling gaps, inventing detail. Normally this happens with unfamiliar faces, strangers passed on the street, and you barely notice, because there's nothing at stake. But when it happens with your own face, there's no second source to check the answer against, no backup system. Just you, alone in low light, watching your own identity flicker at the edges. Now, add darkness into the equation. Low light strips away fine detail. Shadows deepen across the eyes and jaw, hiding just enough to make the shape unreadable. And your ancient threat detection system, a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala, does not like uncertainty of any kind. This is the exact same circuitry that once scanned dark caves and tall grass for predators, tens of thousands of years ago. It doesn't need proof of danger to react. It only needs the possibility of danger. A blurry, shifting version of a face in low light checks every box on that ancient checklist. Unfamiliar, unclear, watching you back. Your brain doesn't pause to reason it through. It reacts first and only explains itself several seconds later. There's another layer to this fear, one that reaches beyond biology and into history itself. For most of the ancient world, mirrors were treated as something closer to magic than furniture. Roman writers linked broken mirrors to 7 years of misfortune, believing the soul itself could be trapped, fractured, or stolen inside the glass. Venetian mirror makers in the 16th century guarded their silvering techniques so fiercely that leaking the formula was punishable by death. A perfect reflection was rare, expensive, and faintly dangerous. Long before neuroscience existed, humans already sensed that looking too closely at their own reflection touched something unstable. Modern psychology gave this old fear a new name: the uncanny valley. It describes the unsettling feeling you get from something that looks almost human, but not quite right. Not wrong enough to dismiss, not right enough to trust. Wax figures, antique dolls, certain lifelike robots. Your own reflection sits right at the edge of that valley the moment the lighting turns low. It has your exact face, your exact expression, but it moves entirely at the mercy of physics rather than intention. It never blinks first. It never initiates a single motion. It only follows, half a second behind, forever. Somewhere deep in your mind, a copy without free will feels wrong, almost human, never quite trustworthy. Here's something that makes this even stranger. You don't just fear your reflection sometimes. You also prefer it, almost always, over any photograph ever taken of you. Psychologist Robert Zions identified the reason back in the 1960s, calling it the mere exposure effect. The human brain quietly prefers whatever it sees most often, no logic required. You've looked at your mirror image, flipped left to right, thousands upon thousands of times since childhood. A photograph shows the unflipped version, the one everyone else sees, and to your own brain, that version looks subtly, uncomfortably wrong. That's the real reason you wince at most photos of yourself, while your reflection feels completely normal. Neuroscience has actually located where this recognition happens. In the early 2000s, a researcher named Julian Keenan used brain imaging to test what lights up when people view their own face versus a stranger's face. He found consistent activation in the right hemisphere, in a region tied closely to self-awareness itself. Not memory, not general vision, self-awareness specifically. Somewhere inside your skull, there's a dedicated piece of neural machinery whose entire job is confirming, moment to moment, that the face in front of you belongs to you. And when that machinery hesitates, even briefly, the rest of your brain doesn't wait for an explanation. It just reacts. Mirrors don't only trick your sense of identity, they can override your sense of your own body entirely. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Vilayanur Ramachandran built something now called the mirror box, originally designed to treat amputees suffering from phantom limb pain. A patient would place their remaining hand inside a box lined with a mirror, positioned to create the illusion that their missing limb was still there, moving normally. Remarkably, many patients reported real, immediate relief. Their brain accepted the reflection as truth, powerful enough to override signals from a limb that no longer physically existed. If a mirror can convince your brain that a missing hand is still attached, imagine how easily it can convince you, for one dark half-second, that the face in the glass isn't your own. So the next time a mirror startles you in a dark hallway, you'll know what really happened. Your brain didn't recognize the face fast enough. Your neurons briefly fatigued, and your amygdala, built for a world of predators, chose to sound the alarm before logic had a chance to speak. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is simply doing what it evolved to do in a world it was never designed for. Tomorrow night, it may happen again. Your heart may still jump, but this time, you'll know the truth. It was never your reflection you feared. It was your ancient survival instinct staring back at you.